Hey everyone, thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to be talking about long-term shifts in Cardano, these momentum shifts in Cardano. So if you guys like this content, please subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on and like the video. And if you want to discuss this stuff, then check out my Telegram channel in the description below. I think we're pushing almost 1,600 members. So we're looking at Cardano, and one of the things, and I should start out. If you're not familiar with Cardano, I would recommend checking out their website, reading about what they're doing. They've been working on getting the mainnet Shelly out for a while. Recently, the testnet launched, and they're working on figuring out the bugs with that. Obviously, before launching the mainnet. Now, Cardano is one of my favorite projects, but it's also risky because Ethereum does exist, and I like to consider Cardano kind of like that third generation technology in a sense. And it remains to be seen if it's going to be able to take some of that market share away from Ethereum. Now it could, and projects could go flocking to Cardano if if it really turns out to be the better platform, and enough people can get on board. But at the same time, the inertia to see that happen is going to be quite large. So while I do like Cardano and it is one of my holdings, it's also important to realize the risk associated with holding it, because if it's not able to accomplish or take part of Ethereum's market share, or even maybe new money into the market, then clearly we might not ever go back up to over $1. At the same time, if it is able to accomplish really what it's trying to, and it is pretty bold, they got a lot of great minds behind the project. A lot of them are academics, and I myself am an academic. I did my PhD in engineering, which I think is one of the reasons why I was initially drawn to the project. But anyways, if they are able to accomplish what they're really trying, or if they're able to accomplish what they're hoping to, and these things are released throughout, or the project continues to be successful throughout the next bull market, then the current valuation of Cardano could be a thing of somewhat comical in the future if we're able to move out of this accumulation phase that we're in. So now that I've kind of talked about a little bit of the backstory there behind other things like fundamentals behind the project, and not that I even went that in depth at all, but just to understand the risk, I do want to talk about what the price is doing. So it's certainly in an accumulation phase. We had, and I've talked about how there are certain altcoins, and Cardano is one of them, that have kind of emulated Bitcoin back in 2015 during its accumulation phase. So if we look at the accumulation phase of Bitcoin back in 2015, you can see we had that first golden cross, and then a death cross, and then a golden cross. So if you're not familiar with golden crosses and death crosses, a golden cross is when the 50-day moving average crosses above the 200-day. And this is not just in cryptocurrency, it's just investing in general. And then a death cross is when the 50-day crosses below the 200-day. So you can see, in general, when you have a death cross following, a massive bull market, typically it's a sign that you should get out of the market for the foreseeable future. And again, this was the case. We had death cross, and we mainly just went down. And you'll see that in other parts of the history of Bitcoin. You can see back in 2011, Bitcoin had a death cross and price continued to go down. And then once it had a golden cross, price then went up for the next couple years. So, and then death cross, we went down. But then in 2015, it did something different. It had this longer accumulation phase than it had in the past. So you can see it here. And when you get these longer accumulation phases where the price kind of oscillates up and down for a while, then you'll actually get these golden crosses and death crosses that aren't really signifying a shift in the market, but they're more so just, an accumulation phase and nothing more. So you can see back in 2015 with Bitcoin, it had that golden cross and then death cross, and it was the second golden cross that was also accompanying with this very nice move, price move. So this was when Bitcoin went from around $220 all the way up to almost $500, and then it corrected back down to the 20-week moving average. And if I show you the 20-week moving average, you can see it here. So you can imagine the golden cross, death cross, came down to the 20-week. 20-week was held as support on the way up, held as resistance on the way down. We go back to the golden cross and the death cross. Again, we have a golden cross and a death cross, and then a golden cross. And it was the second golden cross during that accumulation phase that kicked off the bull market. Now, where is Bitcoin currently? And then we're going to get back to Cardano to try to understand what Cardano is doing. So in our most recent accumulation phase, we had a golden cross, and then we had a death cross. And now it looks like we might be getting close to another golden cross. Now, this is going to be largely dependent on whether Bitcoin can maintain this price, of close to $10,000, and if it can maintain that 20-week moving average, because we talked about how that 20-week moving average, when it's a bull market, it's held as support, and in a bear market, it's resistance. And back in, let me fix this. So back in 2019, once we got above that 20-week, that's what ultimately caused Bitcoin to take off, and we went from like around $4,000 to around, we peaked at around 14 grand before coming back down. And you could see once we broke that 20-week moving average, the price continued to go down. Now Bitcoin has gone back above the 20-week, and I'm sure many people have noticed the general, return of good sentiment in the altcoin market. And I always say how funny it is, because when we are in a bear market, people just think altcoins are dead, and you should, they're never coming back. And then it's funny how things it's funny how quickly things can change. Now, we're looking for Bitcoin to stay above the 20-week. I don't know personally if it will. We're going to be testing it at some point, I imagine, and that will be the test to say, are we in the bull market, or is this just another fake out, and we're going to kick the can down the road and test the 20-week later on and try to confirm the start of the bull market. And ideally, we need to stay above the 20-week for a couple months or so at least. You can see back in October of 2015, we went above the 20-week, stayed above it for a while, came back down to it 3 or 4 months later, and held it as support for around 3 months. So that's what we want to see with Bitcoin. If we see that, then I will be extremely optimistic about some of my favorite altcoins. So, and Cardano is one of them. ADA is one of them. So with Cardano, we're actually doing something similar to what Bitcoin did, and there are other altcoins doing this. It's not just Cardano. We've talked about other coins that are doing it. Not all coins are doing it, and I can assure you that there are going to be some coins that peaked in the last bull run that will not ever reach their previous all-time highs. They just won't. And we hope Cardano is not one of them. But you can see that Cardano had this golden cross back in April of 2019. It had a death cross back in August of 2019. And it's actually about to have another golden cross, which is also accompanied with this pretty nice price move. So if we were to take a measured move of the price from the bottom up to where we currently are, the price is already up over 100%. And we really want to see a move like this to become optimistic about the start of a bull market. Because remember, with Bitcoin, the move that it saw in 2015 was a really nice breakout before coming back down and ultimately holding the 20-week moving average, which you can see here. So again, it's possible, obviously, that we're gonna stay in the accumulation phase with Cardano, and maybe we're gonna have it's possible that we're just gonna oscillate for the better part of the next half year or year or more. That's always a possibility. But you also have to consider the fact that we are about to print a golden cross, and there's a significant potential that this is the start of the bull market. And obviously I can't definitively say that it is, which I'm sure will annoy some people. But again, I don't claim to know what the market's going to do in the short term. We just look at these longer term shifts. Now the point is when we were talking about Cardano back over here, and we were talking about if we're in the accumulation phase, which it seems like is fairly evident, then continuing to buy Cardano at 3 to 4 cents is a really good buy. Now remember, this is not financial advice, but this is just my own opinion, and I really thought that buying Cardano at 3 to 4 cents was a fairly decent buy for Cardano. Recently, it's moved up to around 6 cents, so the risk associated with buying goes up, because if we are in an accumulation phase for the next, say, half year or more, then maybe we come up and we just come right back down. And continue to stay in this window. But on the other hand, if it is a bull market, then the current price could be just laughable in a year, and we might really see some positive moves from Cardano over the course of 2020 and forward. So I know I've rambled a bit in this video. Cardano, I just want to say it is one of my favorite projects. I like what they're doing. I know they've had a lot of growing pains in the past, but it seems like a lot of these things are getting sorted out. And the community is certainly excited about it, especially with the testnet. And if you're not familiar with it, if you had Cardano in your dataless wallet or the Yori wallet, back when the snapshot occurred a couple months ago, then you are eligible to participate in the testnet, where you can actually get real Cardano, real ADA, for staking your Cardano. So it's proof of stake. I should mention that. And this is attractive for a lot of people, because the idea is for a lot of people who hold cryptocurrency, you just hold it in your wallet and you forget about it. But ideally, we could earn interest on holding our assets, because we can continue to see those positions grow even if we're not trading it. So that's perfect for people, especially who are not day traders. For people who have a 9 to 5 job and who are holding Cardano for, say, or holding ADA for the next 3 or 4 years, then allocating or staking your tokens is a way that you can continue to generate a few percent a year, and when you ultimately do cash out, you have maybe you have 10 to 20% more Cardano than you would have otherwise. So I think that's an attractive aspect of it. They're doing a lot of other things. We'll talk more about it in another video, because I know this one's getting a bit long. But I do want to talk about my opinions on. I wanted to talk about my opinions on these longer term momentum shifts, and noting that we are about to print this golden cross, which is, I would say it's either very optimistic for the next couple years, or it's possible that we're just going to stay in our accumulation phase. But either way, I still think Cardano is one of the better projects out there, and will continue to improve. So again, if you guys like this content, please subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on. If you guys want to see more stuff on Cardano, then let me know in the comments below. I also cover other coins on the channel, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, Litecoin, Nano, and a lot of others. So if you guys want to check those out, feel free to do so as well. All right, guys, that'll wrap it up, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.